Faye, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. Very excited to be here today.
I'm very excited to have this chat as well. And look, before we actually get into what we're here to talk about today, those who are watching this might notice that we're not in our usual recording studio, which is essentially my living room. And I just want to start by just thanking Waverley Council for letting us use this room in the world famous Bondi Pavilion to record a podcast. So thank you, Waverley Council, for letting us use your space this weekend to record a few episodes. It's really interesting because when I first started this podcast, I always had the idea of recording a couple of episodes in the pavilion. So here we are today, and we've got a great guest to fill the space with.
Wow, so you literally did manifest this. And let me say, it is very bougie to have a podcast interview in the Bondi Pavilion. Yeah.
We literally couldn't be recording closer to the beach. We're probably about 50 meters away from the actual Bondi Beach.
It's crazy.
Amazing. And look, this is a special episode for me because by the time this episode comes out, it'll be roughly my 2-year anniversary from my last drink of alcohol.
That's crazy. Well done.
So to mark the occasion, I wanted to do another episode on the topic of going alcohol free, giving up alcohol, going sober, whatever you want to call it. Except this time I wanted to talk about your story, Faye, rather than mine. If you want to know about my story, we did an episode about a year ago. I talked about my first year of going alcohol free, but today we're here to talk about you, Faye. So thank you very much for getting in contact with me and offering to come on the podcast. When did you, as I mentioned, it's 2 years for me since I stopped. When did you stop?
I actually had my last drink on February the 13th, 2023. So it was Valentine's Day, 2023, that I decided to take a 6-month break from alcohol.
So what is that now then? Is it
2.5 years? Yeah.
2.5 years. And how old were you at the time? Because I think age is important.
Yeah.
When you're talking about going alcohol free, how old were you?
So I'm 30 now, so I must have been 27.
That's young to give it up. Yeah, wow. So what did, obviously you're not from Australia, you've moved over like myself. What did life look like for you before you stopped drinking? I'm interested in, what did your weekly routine look like? What are the things that you were sort of doing every week? What did you do for work? Things like that.
So yeah, before I give up alcohol, I was Faye, the party girl. I was wild. And I don't know about you, but coming from the United Kingdom here, I just thought it was absolutely amazing. It was always sunny. And I have this association where as soon as it's sunny, it means Aperol Spritz or it means Prosecco. So literally, I'm not even joking, some weeks I would be drinking 5 days a week, sometimes even 7. So when I got to Australia, I did the East Coast, and that was just drinking constant. But then
it's a big pub crawl all the way down the East Coast of Australia, isn't it?
It is, literally. But I used to call myself a flash packer, because I would always be on the Prosecco instead of the, what's the box of wine? Is it?
Goon,
yeah. I'd have the Prosecco, so I used to, hashtag a flash packer. But I did settle down. I first settled in Melbourne. And have you ever lived in Melbourne?
Yeah, I started off in Melbourne, did 6 months there.
Yeah, me too. And that is booze central. Did you find that as well?
Oh yeah, because the nightlife's actually really good. The nightlife in Melbourne is next level compared to Sydney as well. I think that's why it's easy not to drink in Sydney.
Yeah.
But yeah, just amazing bar scene, amazing club scene. You could go out from there's clubs that stay open in Melbourne from Friday night to Monday morning, and you could just stay in the club. So it's easy to sort of get caught up in that Melbourne lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's the sash life there,
yeah,
isn't it?
Because the weather's not as good.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's not that much to do there, really, compared to Sydney. Sydney's absolutely stunning. There's all the coastal walks, there's the sunrises. Well, I don't know, maybe I was just too in the drinking that I didn't know there was anything else to do. But yeah, coming here for me, I really struggled to get a job. Did you?
I came over with a job. So I've not really done, I didn't come over as a backpacker to travel. I came over with a job already sort of lined up. So I was straight to Melbourne and straight into it.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, that was not the case for me. I really, really struggled to get a job. So of course, what did I do? Like every day whilst I was like looking for a job, I'd be drinking every single day.
Just a quick word from me, guys, and please don't skip over this. Do you want a free coffee from me? We're making some really good progress on Spotify and YouTube. I've set myself a goal of having 1,000 followers on Spotify and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 2025. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to pause this episode right now, jump into your Spotify app, click that follow button, then jump into your YouTube app, click that subscribe button. It really, really helps with the show, and it would mean an awful lot to me. And as a thank you to everyone that does that, here's what I'm proposing. If you see me out and about in person, and you can show me on your phone that you are subscribed to the podcast on YouTube and following it on Spotify, I'll buy you a coffee. Can't say fairer than that. But here's the thing, you've got to be subscribed on YouTube and following it on Spotify to qualify for that free coffee. How does that sound? Cheers.
And my first job was in insurance, and it was like so new to me. I was so stressed, and all I did was like drink like Wednesday, like sometimes even Monday. I'd be so stressed that I'd just drink to get through the week, and even weekends, just constant like festivals. Melbourne, like it felt like there was a festival every single weekend or an event, and just blacking out. Like I was a blackout drinker. Did you black out?
No, I never. I've always been quite like in control.
Oh wow.
There'd be like the odd, I think I could count on one hand out of my entire life the amount of times I've blacked out or drunk alcohol to that point where I've like lost my memory but it's very rare, and I certainly don't think it happened in Australia.
Wow. So that makes me really, really curious to why you would want to give up alcohol if you didn't experience the blackouts. Because for me, blackouts were like really anxiety inducing, and for you to be in control as well. Oh God, I'm excited to.
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't destructive.
No.
I wasn't like a destructive drunk. Like I didn't like black out. I didn't fall over. I didn't lose keys. I didn't lose mobile phones. I didn't lose bank cards. It was more just, I stopped enjoying it. It got to a point where the night out and the enjoyment that I got from the night out and the drinking didn't outweigh how I felt the next day. So I think all throughout my 20s, and certainly when I was in Melbourne, it was worth it. Like it was you might be feeling shit on a Monday and Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday after a big like Saturday night out, but the Saturday night was so good that it was worth it. That's how I justified it. And then when the scales started to tip in the other direction when I was in Sydney, I just was like, this doesn't make sense anymore. Like on the night out, when I was drinking, I'd already be thinking ahead to the hangover, and I couldn't enjoy the night out. So that was like I think that was like the main reason. It was a really subtle moment for me actually where I decided to stop. Like it wasn't a big thing. So I remember it was about 2 years ago, October 2023, and I'd been invited to a girl's 30th birthday at the Penthouse in the Ivy.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you've ever been up there. Have you been up there? Yeah, it's like you go up to that room, you just go, it's a room full of debauchery. Like it's, and it wasn't a big one. I got home at a reasonable hour, but then the next day, the Sunday, I was like walking to Woolworths to do my like Sunday shop. Because even when I was hungover, I was pretty good at like being productive. And I was walking down Gold Street in Bondi, and as I got to, do you know where the little where Sonoma is? On Gold Street. Well, basically there's like a couple of gyms there, and a group fitness class came out of one of the gyms to do like a lap around the block before going back into the gym to do like their next set. And I just remember me walking past them feeling like slightly dusty, and it was a beautiful Sunday morning, and I was just like, I just had this overwhelming feeling of I would rather be in that crowd rather than doing that on a Sunday morning, rather than being in the crowd I was in on Saturday night. So I started off by saying, I'm going to do 75 days off the booze to the end of the year. And it just sort of kept it going from there. So it was never destructive. It was just, I don't know, just seeing that group fitness class on that Sunday morning, just something just clicked. And I was like, I'd rather be in that crew than the Penthouse Ivy crew on a Saturday night.
So didn't you have like a Sober Curious journey, or was it just that moment that you decided?
I'd done 100 days before.
Ah, okay. And when was that?
About a year before that.
Wow.
In the winter, through the winter,
Wow.
I did 100 days. And yeah, the year before that, just did 100. It was like, just set myself a challenge. It was like, do 100 days. Again, it's not because I was like a big drinker or partier or anything. I just wanted to do 100 days. And then at that moment in time, I was like, right, I'm gonna do it again. But I did it in the winter last time. I was like, I'm gonna do it in summer, and I'm gonna do it through, I don't know, nearly like a weird challenge. I wanted to make it hard for myself. It's like, I'm gonna do it through wedding season, festival season, my birthday, Christmas, and New Year's. And I just did it. Wow. And then when I got into January, I was like, I genuinely thought that on the 1st of January, I was going to have a drink. Like throughout the 75 days, I genuinely thought, I was like, all right, 1st of January, I'm going to have a drink. I might go to a festival because there's always a good festival on 1st of January. And I didn't. I was like, no, I'm going to do another 100 days. So I was like, I'll push it out to the end of January.
So when did you decide to continue? Was it during the 75 days? Was it like in the middle, or was it at the end?
At the very end.
Oh, wow.
There was a little bit going on in my personal life at the time, like some stuff going on with my ex-girlfriend. And I wasn't in I think by the time I actually got into January at the end of the 75 days, I wasn't in a very good headspace. And I knew that I knew that I needed to keep good habits during that period, because what was going on inside my head wasn't great. And I was like, well, if I was to just go out on the piss, that's just going to make what's going on in my head 10 times worse. So let's just extend it out to the end of January. Let's call it 100 days. And hopefully at the end of January, you're feeling better. And then you can like go for a drink again. But then it just got to the end of January, and I was kind of like, I'm okay for now. I just kept pushing it out, to be honest.
Why was that? Because of the benefits? What benefits could you see then?
So as I was coming up to like the end of the 100 days, I'd started the podcast probably about 4 months before.
Wow.
And I really just wanted to give the podcast a really good nudge in 2024.
So did you start the podcast before you chose to do the 75 days?
Yeah. So I'd recorded a few episodes at the end of 2023 and released them. I think I put out 5. I think I'd recorded 7, something like that. And by the time I got into January 2023, I actually just wanted to put my energy into something different, because I think I needed a little bit of a distraction from what was going on in here. If I was not out drinking with friends, I wanted to put my energy into something that I'm passionate about and productive. So I was able to sort of switch that energy that would have been spent being hungover and in the pub, and I've doubled down nearly on the podcast. And I just, again, at the end of that January, after I'd done the 100 days, I was just like, I'm getting so much done with the podcast, and I'm actually getting a really good feeling from that. So I think that just made it easier to keep kicking the can down the road. And I've still to this point never said I'm never going to have a drink again.
Yeah.
I just sort of, because I think that's just I just keep extending I just keep extending it. And I nearly think that's an easier approach. Just set yourself small incremental goals. But now, like, I don't even like yearn for it. I don't even like, there's not one part of me that's like, when I'm in the company of people drinking, I actually don't have that feeling of, oh, I'd love a pint of Guinness, or I'd love an espresso martini.
Wow.
I just don't get that. That feeling's completely gone. And I think when I'm in that scenario with people, they assume that it's difficult for me, and I go, how are you holding up? And I'm like, mate, I am fine. Like I'm fine. I'm grand. I've got my little non-alcoholic beer here. I've got my heaps normal here. I'm good. But I think they assume it's difficult. Nearly like, I don't know, like it's a challenge for me, but it's not anymore. Like it's just, I don't even think about it.
So would you say the desire has just completely gone? So if I was to ask you now, will you ever drink again? What would you say?
I would say if I felt a really strong urge to have a pint of Guinness, I would.
You would?
I think, but I just don't have that
Yeah.
really strong urge. If there was something deep down inside, I was like, I really want a pint of Guinness in this moment, in this situation, maybe I would.
Wow, yeah.
But I have a feeling that I have a feeling that if I was going to have that feeling, I would have had it over the last 2 years. And I don't have that anymore.
Yeah. And when did that desire go for you? Because you sound so comfortable to be going out with all your friends to be drinking around. When did that desire go?
Probably somewhere around the 6-month mark.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that's probably the point in time where you're starting to see lots of noticeable benefits. That's when your system's probably like completely purified of any alcohol at that point, right? You're sleeping better, your skin's better. You've had a sustained period of just like consistent clarity of thought and good thoughts as well. Like you also notice that you get less negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon probably around the 6th month mark. And that's when I really started embracing, like I was embracing like the zero alcohol beers as well and I got comfortable drinking them and I developed a taste for them. And I'm like, right, when I am in a social situation with my friends, I can still feel part of it.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, like I just got really comfortable in my own skin at that point, I think.
Alcohol-free drinks, honestly, are godsend. And especially in Australia, like they are absolutely everywhere. And for me, just having that drink in my hand, having the glass, it makes you feel completely a part of it. But I definitely get how people who are not on the journey, they are guessing that you are struggling in this moment. But for me, when I'm out with people and I'm in the situation and it gets to a point where people are repeating themselves, they've said like the same thing 3 times now. And for me, that just actually makes me not want to drink even more. It like confirms that I'm on the correct path.
Yeah. That's usually the point in the night where I go, right, it's time for me to go home. And it's when the first person repeats themselves once. I don't give them a chance to repeat themselves a 3rd time. I just go, right, I'm away, guys. And it's usually around 9 or 10 o'clock. And I'm fine with it. I can go to the pub from 6 till 9 with my friends. And then once that, like, there is an inflection point in the night where the chat just like goes completely off a hill. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that's kind of noticed that.
And I always think as well, like we are doing so well, like choosing this amazing thing, choosing sobriety. Like it is so good for like every part of our body, even our mind, our body as well. Like we are doing ourselves such a service by not drinking. So like the next day, it's just absolutely incredible to wake up hungover, because I always speak to my clients as well, and they say, what happens when like it gets to the end of the night and you're really, really not enjoying it? I always say, like, go home, because you'll see that you get to enjoy the next day. No hangover, no anxiety, none of the feeling of shame, guilt. Like that is such a special moment. So go home and enjoy your next morning.
But yeah, you have to get comfortable just nearly smoke bombing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to remember whether you said goodbye or not. Like, yeah, so I've just got comfortable. About 9 or 10 o'clock, instead of going around everyone and saying like an individual goodbye, because then they'll be like, oh, just stay. Blah, blah, blah. You sometimes you just gotta go, I'm gonna cut it now and just enjoy going home early and enjoy getting up early like the next day, if that's your vibe as well.
Oh yeah, I love mornings even more now I'm sober. Like there's such a sacred experience for me. Like sunrises now, I am so committed to them. And the thing with sunrises now, like they just feel so much more special. Like I am in so much awe of the sunrises, where when I was drinking, I would still go to sunrises, but like I'd be so hungover that like my head be hurting and I'd be like wishing it away, like thinking, oh, it's nearly up now, I can go home, I can go back to bed.
Let's flip it back to you, Faye, and it sounds like there was a bit more of a destructive side with your drinking. So like, how much were you drinking to get to that point? Like what did that look like? How many Prosecco's were you putting away? Or
I was a binge drinker. So when I started, I literally just had no control. I could easily have like 3 bottles of Prosecco, and I got to the point, like my first Christmas in Australia in Melbourne, I got so drunk, I lost my Pandora bracelet, I lost my bag with my makeup, that was like the most heartbreaking thing. Also my passport was in there, driving license, English bank cards, Australian bank cards, keys, everything, plus almond milk, because I was only on the way to the shop and then I was supposed to be going home. But if I had that one, like it was just game over. And I woke up the next day and I had someone else's bag. I didn't have my bag.
Yeah.
I had someone else's bag. And that next morning, having to organise a new passport, having to organise like driving licence, cards, a key, it was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. And I wish I could say that was like the end of it and I stopped drinking, because I had so many situations like that. But I was back drinking that day. I needed to drink to numb the shame, the guilt. Like it was just absolutely awful. And like that was just standard, like all the time, losing phones, the amount of phones I've had to replace in Australia, like, and resetting your Apple ID when you don't know your passport, transferring your pictures. Oh my God. And the amount of pictures I've lost, like I have all my time in Melbourne, I have no pictures because losing my phone, ruining my passport, that when it says iPhone unavailable, like I've lost everything. So yeah, when I drank, I just didn't have an off switch, and like I drank until I couldn't. I drank until I passed out, and that was just my normal. Sometimes I'd go out after work and maybe have like 10, but it would because I'd be getting forced home, and I used to like really, really grudge them. But I wouldn't say like I wasn't drinking every single day, but I was just an absolute utter binge drink. And I think it was because after university, I moved back with my mum, and I feel like my mum had a lot of control over me when I was at home, and I think I was just free. I didn't have anyone to tell me off. But my mum was still messaging me saying, I think you're drinking too much. Even my brothers had to block me on social media because they just said, like, I can't watch you. You're just embarrassing. That's what they used to say. They only unblocked me a couple of years ago.
So what did your Instagram stories look like then back then? Oh my
God. I would have about 30 stories, like 30, just of me holding my phone like this, dancing, screaming, recording everyone. And my brothers be like, Faye, you've moved all the way to Australia and all you do is spend every weekend in a kitchen. Like, what are you doing? And it's true. Like the first 2 years of Australia, I do feel like I completely wasted it. And like Australia is so stunning. I hardly went to the beach in the first 2 years because I'd either be hungover or I'd be still up. Like the weekends would roll into each other. And do you know what else as well, which really makes me cringe? I used to be proud, like so proud of being a party girl. Like I'd go out on a Friday night and I wouldn't come home till Sunday, and people would message me like, oh my God, how are you still going? And like I took that as a badge of honor. Like I was so proud. Like people would message me saying like, would love to party with you. And like my drinking ego, oh my God, it's so cringy. But like I thought I was like a gangster, a tomboy. Like I really cringe now. I think, yeah, I obviously didn't have any confidence when I was sober. And when I drank, I was so loud. I would do anything. Like someone could tell me to pick up a cone off the street or something, and I would. Like, I'd do absolutely everything. And I was just, very loud. I was a completely, utterly different person.
Bondi podcast listeners, this episode is sponsored by Chief Nutrition. Chief Nutrition specialise in healthy, nutritious snacks that cut the crap. My personal favourite is the collagen protein bar, which I have every day. And good news, Bondi podcast listeners get 10% off all Chief Nutrition products when they order online. And we've got a discount code for you right there in the show notes. So go and use that, go and check out the website and let me know what you think.
Cheers.
What about in Australia? Like, did you ever get yourself into a pretty dodgy situation?
Yeah, so when I was doing my farm work, you didn't have to do
No,
farm
no,
work then?
didn't have to do it, no.
Oh God, so I did my farm work in Atherton, and it's by Cairns, it's quite far, it's very remote. And it was like my last night of the farm. I was flying to Sydney the next day, and I used to be quite gobby when I was drunk. But basically there was this couple fighting, and I thought I would like be the person who fixes the situation. So I was like, oh, come over here, I'll look after you. And we were on a bus. We were going from one hostel home to I think we were going home or we were going out. And next thing, she went for me, pushed me out the bus. Like, it really, really hurt me. And then she grabbed another one of the girls, and like we're on the floor of the outside, getting beat up by her. The bus didn't know what to do. The bus went off, and yeah, we ended up in hospital. I had no phone. My phone got run over by the bus, I think, because the bus got so scared. And yeah, I was black and blue the next day, and scratches everywhere. It was, yeah, and again, like, went back to drinking straight away.
Sounds like, Faye, you've probably done a lot of like self-reflection since you've stopped drinking. Like why have you been drinking to such an extent and so regularly? You mentioned there about parents getting divorced when you're younger, trying to vie for your dad's attention, rebelling a little bit because your mum was quite controlling. Are these all the things that sort of contributed to it? Was there anything else you've sort of uncovered?
I think also I'm dyslexic. Like, I feel like I'm very good the way I speak now, but like growing up, I couldn't really speak. Like, I was so shy. I would stutter. I would get all of my words mixed up. And I think I used alcohol as like this confidence thing, because when I drank, like, I didn't care that I stuttered. I didn't care that I mixed my words up. So yeah, I really think it was a confidence thing. Like, I was honestly so shy if I didn't drink. And when I had the alcohol, I was like the loudest person in the room.
So do you think that was is that like the biggest reason, you think, or compared to say like the childhood parental stuff, do you actually think it was the confidence rather than any of that from your childhood was like the biggest driving factor? Because it can be a few things all feed into it, right?
Definitely a few things. I'd say as well, because I started drinking so early to basically rebound from mum and dad's divorce, I learned very early that when I drank, it numbed the emotion. Because I don't think I actually got to grieve my mum and dad splitting up, because straight away I was drinking. Straight away, as soon as I knew my dad was leaving, I knew we had a cupboard of like Malibu, what else, rum, Pimm's, all of these drinks. And then I used to like go in the cupboard with a bottle of empty water and like put all kinds and take it onto the school field. So yeah.
So it feels like it was like a coping mechanism when you were younger, off the back of your parents splitting up, but then you've extended that coping mechanism as a way to like feel confident around your peers and your friends and stuff like that. Like you mentioned the stutter, you mentioned being a bit shy. So it feels like it has been used as a coping mechanism
100%.
for a couple of different things over the years. That's interesting. So tell me about the build up to you stopping drinking. So you mentioned it was February 2023.
Yeah.
So like what was sort of going on in your life in the build up to that pivotal moment?
Yeah, so I think I was a bit sober curious for a while. It was the time when, do you follow Dr. Alex George?
No. Oh yes, I do. The guy who was on Love Island.
Yeah. And he had just come out that he was ADHD. And growing up, I was always the dyslexic one. I was the one that couldn't speak. And I've got my sister, and Lily's the ADHD one. And basically I was told, I was in therapy, and I was
What were you in therapy for?
Depression and anxiety.
Okay, let's touch on this. You kind of skipped over all this good stuff.
Yeah, this is
fair. Yeah, so let's rewind then. So talk to me, like, how did you
Okay, so
going to
I
therapy?
honestly think I was drinking too much. So I had a bit of stress with like visas, what to do, whether to go home, whether to stay. And like that is so much stress for someone who it hasn't got PR, like, isn't it? Like it's awful, so much stress. And I wasn't working at the time, and like there was just a lot of stress, and I was just drinking quite a lot. I'd say maybe Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. And I just think I didn't have it was by COVID, it was during COVID as well, actually. And like there was not much going on. Yeah, I was just so fed up, like really, really fed up, like didn't know, because if I went home then, I wouldn't have been able to come back. That was the thing as well. It was all that stress. And yeah, I was just like really, really fed off. And then I went to see a psychologist, and she actually was sober. She didn't drink. So I feel like she was like a huge aspect. And I think like she used to ask me about my drinking, and I used to lie. I used to say like, don't drink that much. Like, yeah, don't drink that much. And yeah, I was just lying, because the person that I was, even like with my boyfriend, we've been together 5 years, like he'd say how much we were drinking, and I'd lie to him. I'd say like, I'd say like I was drank like a third of what I actually drank, and I'd always pretend that I remembered everything, because he knew I blacked out all the time. And yeah, I was seeing her for ages. And then she recommended me the book Lost Connections by Johann Hari, and that really, really helped. I realized I wasn't exercising, I wasn't seeing friends then, I wasn't eating well. And she set me all these goals, and like it really, really helped. Like I felt amazing. And then from that, I went into, because I love learning about the mental health. She was teaching me all about mental health. Then I got a new job. So I think there was stress on money as well. There was a lot of stress. So there was a lot of stress financially. And like
You and your partner, like collectively, you and your partner, or just you?
just me.
Okay.
Just me.
Because you were spending so much on booze and other things as well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And from there, learning all about mental health, I got a job in mental health, because in my background, I'm a graphic designer. That's my degree. That's my experience, and I really wanted to get into mental health. And whilst I was there, I was working in, it's an EAPA employee assistant program, and I was designing all these books. It was like positive psychology, neuroscience, all about neurodevelopment. And I was just obsessed. Like positive psychology, it's the science of like success, happiness, well-being. It's basically the science to unlock true potential. And I was just obsessed. And then then I found a positive psychology coaching accreditation. I did that, and I felt amazing. Whilst doing that, I didn't drink alcohol, because I thought this course is very expensive, very impulsive as well. So I bought that really without even telling my boyfriend. I asked my dad, I told my dad, and I didn't ask for any money, but my dad basically sent me money. And I bought this really expensive course. So because it was so expensive, I didn't drink, and I felt incredible. And from that, I started a business, a positive psychology, Unlock True Potential, it was called, because it just felt absolutely incredible. But I was doing all the things, but obviously I wasn't drinking again. And I went home and I tried to like launch a business, but
You went back to the UK?
Went back to the UK for a holiday. It was the first holiday since after COVID. So this was just before I got sober. So yeah, about 3 years ago.
So this is sort of when the sober curiosity starts to
Yeah,
kick in?
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
And then I went home, and obviously I seen all my friends, and like going home, like the only thing really to do is drink, isn't it? Like there's nothing else to do when you're seeing your friends. So obviously when I went home, like I was out drinking all the time, and I stopped showing up for my business. I didn't want to do like sales calls because I was so hungover. And like basically that business was an absolute flop because of alcohol. And then I remember going back to Australia then. And I was saying to my psychologist, like, I feel amazing, but I said, I'm very, very anxious all the time. And she was like, Faye, like, there's more going on. I really want you to go to the psychiatrist. She says, I need to go to the GP, get a referral.
So you're seeing a psychologist?
Yeah.
They've sent you to a psychiatrist. What's the difference between the two? I don't know.
So psychologists, it's all talk therapy.
Okay.
Where a psychiatrist can diagnose ADHD,
Right.
bipolar, and schizophrenia, all of that. So I had to go to the GP, get a referral, and this psychiatrist with an ADHD diagnosis, they get you to do everything. They get you to get your school reports, my dyslexia reports, a letter from your mum, your dad, partner.
They make it really difficult to get Dexies, basically, don't they?
Yeah, really, really difficult. And we read my dyslexia report, and it was all like, Faye doesn't listen, Faye can't retain information, Faye's really fidgety. And I was like, oh my God, like all my life, maybe I have been ADHD. And I went to see him for a couple of sessions. And obviously, because my sister's ADHD as well, he was like, yeah, you are. So then I started to listen to Dr. Alex George's YouTube, and he was talking about being diagnosed ADHD and giving up alcohol. So it was then that I thought, oh my God, if I want to go on medication, then maybe I need to go sober as well. So it was then I started to think about it. And then my last drink, so the run up, was I went to a family wedding in Dubai, and family had come from like China, Canada, like my family's from England, we'd come from Sydney. And yeah, the first night that I met everybody, I got so excited that the next day I woke up in bed and was like, how on earth did we get home? Like blacked out straight away. And just before that, I had taken 3 weeks off alcohol. And like, I felt amazing. Like I felt really amazing. I was consistent with meditating, journaling, working out, walking. Because I don't know about you, but when you were, you just said as well, like when you were drinking, you still was quite disciplined. You still did your food shops. Did you still work out?
Yeah. I didn't work out. I usually planned it, right? So
Yeah.
I would have always had Sunday as a rest day. So like I would have went out on I didn't really go out on a Friday. Just used to go out on like a Saturday. Always would have Sunday as like a rest day. Anyway, so like but then I would still feel shit in the gym on Monday morning. If I had a big Saturday night, I would still feel shit in the gym Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, so it was impacting. Just like I didn't really train the next day anyway.
Wow. Okay, so you actually planned for it, like
yeah. That's like my personality type would be to like I'm quite like regimented.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, this is going to be the drinking alcohol time. This is going to be the hungover time. But I still need to do something productive so I don't feel like a piece of shit. I'm still not going to feel good on Monday, but I'm still going to drag myself to the gym at 5:30 a.m. and like I was quite disciplined with it. Like
because I want to touch on that in a minute on the high achiever. Because when I first heard your podcast, I was like, oh my God, you're such a high achiever. But I definitely want to talk about that. But so then, yeah, with my drinking, I think then the couple of days after, the day after was the hen do. We had like this hen do, and
in Dubai,
and I was like maybe an hour and a half late, and my mum was already there waiting for me because I just couldn't take my head off the pillow. Like I was just so hungover, and I did feel really shameful because in my head, like on that plane, I set the intention like I'd continue with all of those meditating, journaling, working out, walking, but I also wanted to spend time with my mum because I never see her, and yeah, I just obviously didn't spend time with her because I was in bed. And then the wedding day, because I knew what type of drinker I am, if you look at all the pictures, I'm there with a Prosecco and water. So every time I had Prosecco, like I had water with me. And I did set some rules. I was like, don't have too many drinks until it's dark because otherwise all eyes are going to be on you. So then I did drink obviously loads at the end. And on the next day, I was like, how did I get home? And then the last night of the holiday, like I said, the type of drinker I am, like I could be quite loud sometimes. And there was like some things that I witnessed which I didn't approve of. By the end of just friends, like I won't go into that bit, but yeah, things that I didn't approve of. And even looking back now, like I still don't approve of what happened with
things your friends were doing. I'm not going to pry on the details, but
not my friends, but like friends,
people at the wedding.
Yeah,
you saw some things from guests at the wedding you didn't necessarily approve with.
Yes, yeah.
And
exactly.
And you were worried that you couldn't hold you were going to say something, or?
Well, yeah, I did end up saying things at the end, and my mum had to put me in a taxi.
Is this the day after the wedding?
No, this was day after the wedding, and my mum put me in a taxi because I just switched, and I didn't get to say goodbye to my brothers, my stepdad, my cousin who got married. I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody because I was on that flight the next morning. And then on that plane home, I was thinking, oh my God, my intention, I didn't meditate, I didn't journal, I didn't work out, I didn't go on a walk. I didn't even spend time with my mum because I was just hungover all the time. And it was that I decided I'm going to do 6 months break and I'm just going to see what happens. And similarly to you, I also had a little goal to work on. So I was wanting to relaunch my positive psychology coaching again. And I knew when I was drinking, it always got pushed to the back. So I'd always plan, oh, I'll do it on the weekend. But then on like Thursday night, Friday night, I would drink and I would never touch it. So yeah, similarly to you, I thought, right, I'll take a 6-month break and I'll work on that. So yeah, it was like I moved my energy from drinking to that, and that was really, really helpful for me. And I actually listened to a podcast, Scott Thomas. Do you listen to Scott Thomas? He's one of I think it's Thomas. He's one of the brothers, where one brother's in Waterloo Road, one brother was in Coronation Street. Is it the Thompson's family? And he was basically said as well, like, when you remove alcohol, you need to put your energy into something else that will make it feel a lot easier. So for 6 months, I worked on that. And like you as well, I thought after the 6 months, my sister's coming, my brothers are coming, my mum's coming, I'll have a drink with them. But I think for me, it was about 3 months I decided, like, I'm not going to drink again.
Are you a small business or solo entrepreneur who wishes you had more hours in the day? Have you ever thought about hiring a virtual assistant? Well, the Bondi podcast is sponsored by Remote-E. Remote-E specialise in connecting small businesses and entrepreneurs with the best virtual assistant talent in the Philippines to do all those jobs that you don't want to, so you can focus on growing and scaling your business. If this is something you're interested in, the Bondi podcast can get you 2 weeks absolutely free with Remote-E. Just go to the website remote.com.au/contact and enter the referral code Bondi for 2 weeks absolutely free. That's 2 weeks absolutely free. Cheers. Let's touch on that. This concept of putting your energy into something else, or nearly replacing the alcohol and the nights out with something else. So I think that's really, really important. And I think when I was having this discussion with a guy in Beach Road last week, this Irish guy called Brian, and he saw that I was drinking heaps normal, and he obviously made the like toxic masculinity joke, like to take the piss out of me like a little bit. But then he was curious. I think he'd done a month off the booze recently, and he was like, but he struggled. He found it really, really hard from a social perspective, and he was just like, mate, like, how do you do it? And the key thing, like I said, he really struggled. I said, look, the key thing for me is you've got to replace it with something. You've got to replace it with something that you're passionate about, that's nearly bigger than you, and more, that something that you perceive to be more important than going out and getting pissed. Now that, to me, that's what I tell people is the key thing.
Yeah.
I've done it with this podcast. I've done it as well with my High Rocks training. Those are like the two things that I've sort of replaced drinking and going out with: High Rocks training and this podcast.
Wow.
But I think you need something, and that's why we see a lot of people who like give up alcohol and drugs and all of a sudden get into triathlons and marathon runnings, because they nearly need to go from like one extreme to another. So I think it's just like, yeah, that's my key bit of advice, is replace it with something that you're passionate about, that gives you like a really strong why, nearly, so that when you are in that social situation and you're like, should I just have 1 or 2 drinks? And your why for the other thing needs to be strong enough for you to be like, no, I'm not going to, because I have X, Y, and Z to do tomorrow, and I'll feel much better for doing X, Y, and Z tomorrow.
100%. And that's where I think like it's so much easier for high achievers. And I think for you, you've always been a high achiever. The way that you like would plan around the hangovers to make sure that you would always feel productive as well. Would you say you think it's easier for high achievers?
I think so. I'm still not sure. Like you talk about high achievers a lot, and it's only like a term that I've only really come across more lately, like listening, having conversations with you and watching your content and stuff like that. So there's something about like you sitting there telling me, Chris, you're a high achiever, that even makes me squirm and feel like
really?
like a little bit uncomfortable. But I think I kind of see like where you're coming from. I think it comes down to like, I would say I wouldn't describe it as me being a high achiever. I would describe it as me being disciplined and driven, as you say, disciplined and driven, But then you probably say, well, those are two traits of high achievers, right? So I've always perceived myself to be a very disciplined person. Even when I was drinking and going out, I was very disciplined around it as well. Like there was rules in place to make sure like the next day wasn't as bad. But yeah, I would say discipline. I think that's what's made it easier for me. And I actually don't think I don't think I've got like any addictive tendencies, addictive traits. You know, people say they've got like addictive personality traits. I don't think I have any of that either, which kind of makes it a little bit easier, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes though, I'd say for people who have got the addictive personality, I'm one of those people who say I've got an addictive personality, but I feel like you can swap that. So now I'm addicted to being healthy. I am so obsessed with like going on my walks, looking after myself, eating really nutritious food. Whereas when I was drinking, like all of that really got left to the side. I didn't eat healthy, hardly worked out. Like that was just at the last of my priority. But that was like still top of your priority.
Yeah, I can imagine. It just comes back to replacing it with something else now, whether it's just replacing time and energy with something like that you want to do instead, or whether it's replacing an addiction with something else. Again, like I use the extreme example of, I know so many people who used to be big party animals, would do a lot of drug addicts, would do a lot of drugs, but they've had to, because they were so extreme on one side, they've gone like really extreme the other side, and that's why they're doing all these really mad like triathlon, like Ironman triathlons and ultra running marathons and things now, because they were addicted to one thing, therefore they need to be addicted to something equally extreme, but just like a little bit like way more healthy for you.
No, definitely. But even going back to like younger you, like were you always the one at like, did you went to university?
Yeah.
So when you were in university, were you always thriving for like the best score?
Yeah. I've always been really competitive. I've always been really competitive, like sporting background, like difficult degree, good degree, like did well in my exams at uni. And
what did you get?
I got a first.
Wow. Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
So and would you say even like from a young age, you were always ambitious?
Yes. Yeah, I always wanted to do well in everything I did. Like I always, when it was playing sport, I was very competitive. I always really wanted to win. When it came to schooling and exams and grades, I always wanted to get the top grades as well. And I generally did quite well at both. But I think, my mum and dad sort of encouraged me and my sister to be like that. They kind of use bribery as a trick, right? They use they kind of use bribery as a trick. We, like my mum and dad, when it came to like our school exams, they would say, right, I'll give you £30 if you get an A star, £20 if you get an A, and a tenner if you get like a B on our exams. So me and my sister were very I think we were very money driven when we were younger. So like, I don't know, I think that the bribery from the parents sort of instilled that, like wanting to do really well from like a grades perspective.
Looking back now at drinking, like the relationship with money, have you, like my brother went out not long ago and he said he spent $500 on a night out, and me being like 2 years, I think I was about 2 years sober, I think this is at Christmas, I was like nearly sick. I was like, $500 on one night, and like that used to be my normal. Like when I was drunk, like I didn't think I'd buy anyone a drink just because I'd want people. Do you know what I think it was as well? Like I wanted people to be on my level because I thought that they would get on with me more. They wouldn't clock on to me slurring my words, or not even slurring my words. I would not have even been bothered about that. That wouldn't have been a thing. But now for me, like I've been able to save so much money, because like honestly, when going back to my little brother, him spending $500, like honestly, I was nearly sick. Like I could never think about wasting that much money now. And that's another thing with sobriety, like the money that we would have spent on drink, like I'm sure that you're investing so much into this podcast, like your values change, you get more authentic with your values. Like now I spend a lot on like going on retreats, health retreats, like going to breathwork classes, Reiki. But whilst I was drinking, I wouldn't have had the money. I would have never have even allowed myself or give myself this luxury of like treating myself. Were you the same, do you think?
Yeah. I am. The way I see it is the money that I used to spend on going out, drinking. I think I've poured that into the podcast now. So again, and I see that as more of an investment. Yeah. But also, like, don't get me wrong, like, spent a shitload of money going on a meditation retreat in the Himalayas last year, which was mental. But like, it was expensive. It was an expensive trip. We've done a podcast on it, but totally worth it. Like, just an unbelievable experience that I would never be able to have. Like, I've never had anything like that before in my life. So doing things like that, I get way more value out of.
Return of investment.
Yeah.
So when you were drinking, would you have ever have spent anything on things like that?
Yeah, I went on a couple of like yoga retreats up in Byron and things like that, but I probably might not have been able to afford that India trip. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I've always been quite sensible with my money as well, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, I've not been. I think again, just the way I was sort of brought up, never really been too reckless with it.
I was okay until I drank. Then the impulse control was just switched off.
Out the window. Faye, one thing like I'm interested in. So you've been to Dubai. You've had that Dubai trip that you had that you're not too happy how you sort of behaved on, and then was it on the flight on the way back? That's when you were like, right, 6 months, focus on the side hustle project. What negative thoughts were going through your head at that moment in time in terms of like fears around giving up alcohol for 6 months? Like what was, because there's a lot of fear comes with it, right? A lot of people are scared too because they focus more on what am I potentially giving up rather than what I'm actually going to gain through this. So what was the negative chatter going on in your head?
So another thing is that like I had no self-love when I was drinking. It was constantly like, oh my God, I hate myself. I've done this. I've upset my mom. I've upset my family. So, and I knew when I was drinking, like it always was worse. Like it was just 10 times worse. And I think I knew I wanted to take a break from alcohol because I knew maybe potentially that would quieten in my head. But although I had that desire, I was also terrified that, oh my God, how am I going to socialize with people? Like I was still so self-conscious and like stuttering and mixing my words up, where now 2.5 years later, like I feel like I don't stutter my words. I don't even mix my words up hardly anything. It was just that crutch of using alcohol. Like it's kept me in that loop. But the big thing was socializing. Like how am I going to go out with friends? How am I going to socialize? How am I going to make new friends? Because for me, all the friends that I had met previously were out in like toilets, in like a bar, at a party. I hadn't really met friends in other ways. So I was terrified of that. Another thing as well is like me and my partner met partying. Like we were in the same friendship group. I used to like follow him around at parties, and if I was at a party and he was at a different one, I'd make him come to my party. So our relationship was very booze focused. And then I was thinking, oh my God, will he like me if I don't drink? Like how is our relationship going to change? But to be honest, he wasn't bothered because he stopped drinking before me as well, like having these breaks, doing all the Ironman and marathons and triathlons and all that. But I think what I was really scared of is like the confidence again. Like he would see the real me without alcohol, and would he like the real me? Because obviously alcohol made me louder, more confident and everything. So
how long had you guys been together at that point when you decided to stop drinking?
Must be 2.5. Yes, we've been together nearly 5 years, so 2.5 years. So we would have spent 2.5 years
partying together.
Yeah. We did stop partying as much because with alcohol, and especially with an ADHD brain, like, and he doesn't like me saying this, he actually hates it, but he's definitely textbook ADHD as well, although he does not like that label at all. But I think when you're these type of people with alcohol, like alcohol exacerbates ADHD symptoms. So me and him, not all the time, but sometimes would argue when we were drinking. So we did come away from the party scene, but we did still go out for meals. And some meals he wouldn't drink because he'd be training, and I'd end up getting paralytic and waking up the next day just not even knowing how we got home. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I think socializing, and even like, socializing with Joe, I was terrified of. I'd say they're the two things I was terrified of. And then going on holidays, like, that's a big thing. Like,
because holidays are boozy, right?
Exactly. And
sorry, just on that, did you have the same experiences of me before you sort of stopped drinking? Did you have the perception that your holiday was going to be like this nice, like, relaxing sort of period, but you actually come back feeling worse from your holiday because you've been so fucking boozy on your holiday?
And I used to always get sick.
Yeah.
I used to always get sick after a holiday. After Dubai, I was so sick. Like, I don't know as well if it's like the shame. Well, yeah, it's the shame, the cortisol, the increased cortisol, because your prefrontal cortex being so stressed out. And so 3 months into my sobriety, we were going to Bali. So that was my first sober holiday. We were going with another couple, and I was terrified of that. And do you know what? I had the best time. I couldn't have chose like a better place to have my first sober holiday. Loved it. My partner's still drinking like all the time, like proper drinking. And that was absolutely fine. At times I did just take myself to bed, and I used to remind myself, like, if I go to sleep now, I'm just gonna have the most gorgeous morning. I got up before everyone, meditated, journaled, everything I wanted to do at that Dubai holiday I got to do. And after that holiday, when I returned back, I was not sick. I felt unbelievable. Like, I felt like I'd been on a retreat. I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, I've just been to Bali for 2 weeks. The pride, I think it was after that holiday that I used to get the comments saying, like, you are glowing. Because I think before that, like you were just saying, I was focused too much on what I was giving up. And it was that holiday, I think, which was like the tipping point that made me think, like, oh my God, I'm actually gaining so much. Like, I had the best of both worlds, going on the holiday and going out at the evening. I'd be able to watch like the sunset, and then also be able to get up in the morning. Yeah, I just felt like best of both worlds. It was amazing.
Does your partner still drink?
He does, yeah.
How have you guys sort of navigated that?
So he went out actually not last weekend, the weekend before, and like he came in at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So he still parties and everything. And I was doing something really lovely the next day. I would have been meeting the girls or something. But you know what? At the start, it was really uncomfortable. I'll go back, and I'm not going to lie, it was really difficult. At the start, I used to ring.
Difficult for you, difficult for him, difficult for both?
No, difficult for me. Because he would go out on the sesh and like return back on like the following day at like the next morning. And at the start, I felt really lonely. Like, because I would want to spend that Sunday with him, and like he'd be asleep all day. And I used to ring my mum. My mum also got sober, I think 6 months after me. And I'd ring my mum, say, Mum, like, what am I going to do today? And I realised 3 months after my sobriety, I got sober on Valentine's Day, which was like the biggest like act of self-love that I could have ever given myself. And I always say, like, I had no self-love when I was drinking, and sobriety, it has been the thing that has given me self-love. So what I used to do is take myself on like a self-love date. So I had a self-love workbook, and I'd take myself to a cafe and I'd just write in that. And that's how I adjusted to that. But yeah, now he went out like 2 weekends ago, and like he's just repeating himself. And I was just like, right, love you, I'm going up now. And I just left him to be hungover. So now it doesn't bother me. And to be honest, I always joke with him, and I'm like, I'm so glad that you actually go out and drink and party, because you make me not want to do it myself. Like, and it's like when I ask him questions and he has to, and this used to be me, he has to like really think about it. Like this simple question, it takes him like a minute, and I can see how hard his brain is working to answer this simple question. And yeah, I know how that feels like. I couldn't do it now.
Has he like naturally cut back because you've cut back?
Yeah, so he's the one who cut back before me. So he cut back because of the Ironman marathons and all that, and he influenced me, but I was just at a point where I just wasn't ready to give it up. I still needed alcohol for confidence. So yeah, to be honest, he hardly drinks. When he drinks, he will go out, but yeah, he hardly drinks now.
Nice. Let's go back to like some of those negative initial thoughts you were having at the very start of that decision to like give up alcohol. The social things, like it's such a big thing, and it's like, again, it's like one of the main questions you get asked when people are sort of sober curious, like how do you manage from a social perspective? How have you managed? How did you manage in those early days from a social perspective? Like, yeah, because I imagine you would have had to like say to your friends, look, I'm doing 6 months sober, or like how did they react? How did your Saturday nights look like in those early days?
So to be honest, I think mine was a bit different to you. I actually stayed in for like
You went hermit mode? Okay. Yeah. I think you got to do that at the start just to like give it like a little boost or a kickstart. So I kind of did that as well.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah. I went through the whole lonely thing as well.
Yeah. Just because I just knew I'd be easily talked into drinking, and I just thought if I get a few days under my belt, it might be a lot easier.
A bit of momentum.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of lose a lot of friends because I did realize that a lot of my friendships were based on just drinking alcohol. So that was, and I kind of knew that would happen, but I did not want it to happen. And
are you familiar with the lonely period that Chris Williamson talks about?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it sort of touches on this. It's sort of the idea that the previous version of you has this life and this friendship group, but you're here, but you actually want to be over here. And it's called it's like the lonely period of the lonely journey, and it takes a while for you to go from here, to leave this safe friendship circle that are doing the exact same thing every single weekend. If you try to go this way, they want to try and drag you back a little bit. And it's a very lonely journey from here to here, because over here are like your new friendship circle, your new friends, your new life, but you can't just hop from A to B. There's like a journey in between, and it can be quite lonely at times, and that's certainly what I found.
Wow.
And that initial month or two, like I think I was just doubling down on the podcast because I just didn't want to sit in that loneliness. And a lot of these friends, this previous version of Faye would have went out with, again, the main thing that you bonded over was probably going out, drinking, partying, all of that stuff.
Definitely.
So you gravitate away from them. You lose a lot of them, unfortunately. Some will hang around and be supportive of your journey. Some will not be as supportive because there's like an element that they know that they couldn't do what you're trying to do. But within that, yeah, as I mentioned, there are a lot of lonely Saturday nights. The phone stops ringing.
Wow. Yeah, completely resonate with that. But definitely as well resonate with, so I went home. Oh yeah, you've just been home as well, haven't you? Was that the first time you went home a couple of months ago since being sober?
No, I've been home a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah, I went home at Christmas.
Oh my goodness me, at Christmas.
Yeah. But you know what? It's actually it's fine in Belfast for me because if I can still go to all my favourite pubs in Belfast because they do Guinness Zero on tap, and Guinness Zero on tap tastes exactly like a Guinness.
No way.
Like there's actually not that much of a difference in taste. So I can actually, when I actually go back to Belfast, it's actually just really nice because I know if I can go to the pub with my dad, with my friends, they're all drinking normal Guinness. I'm drinking Guinness Zero. It looks and tastes like exactly the same, and I get all that
wow.
social stuff that I need from that experience. So I actually found I've actually found going home the last 2 times like pretty easy from
Pretty
that
easy. Wow.
perspective. Yeah.
And did you feel like, was the friendships at home still supportive?
No, very supportive.
Yeah, I found that as well. My friends at home were so supportive. Like when I went home, my best friend filled her fridge with alcohol-free wine. So I feel like, yes, I did lose quite a lot of friends here. Would you say you lost quite a few?
Yeah, I mean, there was a big sort of Bondi friendship circle that were like big time on the Saturday night, Friday night party scene that, you know, I don't really, I see them in the street and I would stop and say hi, but like we don't really socialize anymore. I couldn't tell you the last time I was on a boat party. It felt like I used to be on a boat party every single weekend. I don't even get invited on boat parties anymore. So whereas I used to get invited on boat parties quite a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of people I don't see on a Saturday night anymore. My friendship circles got a lot smaller, and that was uncomfortable initially, as I think I was someone who was quite sociable. But actually now I'm just like so at peace with that, and I'm more about like, it's a smaller group of people, but the friendship itself, it's deeper, it's a more quality friendship.
Yeah, real.
Yeah, and I'm just way more at peace with that now. Plus all the other people that you sort of gravitate toward. It's been an interesting journey, but wouldn't change it.
No. Can I ask then, how was it going home with like your family going whilst you were sober? Like, was there a transition with them? Did they accept it? Did they ask questions?
I still don't think they get it.
Yeah.
Because they've always grown up in a culture of drinking. Like that's the thing you do with your friends is you drink. And yeah, I think it was, my mum's very supportive. My dad kind of gets it, he kind of doesn't get it. It's like, because he just remembers the old version of me that used to play rugby, go to the pub and get pissed and be hungover and stuff like that. And because he was probably like that when he was younger. And now, I don't know, maybe this new version of me is like a little bit confronting to them. But like they understand my reasons for not doing it. They understand that I've told them the story about it. I stopped enjoying it, and I just made me feel shit, and I just couldn't hack the hangovers anymore. Like it just wasn't worth it. And then plus they see the amount of energy that I'm pouring into this podcast as well, so they kind of get it. They kind of don't.
That's like my dad at the start. He was like, "Are you drinking yet again?" And I was like, "No, Dad, like I'm not drinking." Like my mum definitely gets it, because like my family's from Dublin. Like my granddad, he died of alcohol. My mum would use the term he was an alcoholic. He passed away quite early. I think he was only about 50, and he actually stopped drinking when the first grandson was born. Like he finally had this purpose, and he stopped drinking. He used to drink every day. He stopped drinking, but because the damage of the alcohol was so ingrained, so deep, he did actually pass quite soon after. And like alcoholism does run a lot in my mum's family. So like my mum's family got it straight away. Like there's always talk about it, but my dad just does not get it. It's wild.
Yeah. And again, yeah, like my dad came over for the British and Irish Lions rugby tour like this year, and yeah, like if I had been drinking, I think it would have been a very different trip with him. He still had a few drinks along the way, and he had a good time, and rightly so, if that's what he wants to do.
And did he have any alcohol-free drinks?
No. I gave him a sip of my alcohol-free Guinness when we were in Belfast once, and he was like, "Oh, just all right," but like he would never substitute it. I think he maybe sees it as like a macho man thing. Like I'm going to drink alcohol, and I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I feel like just their generation, like they just don't get it. They literally just don't get it.
Yeah. Whereas the generation younger than us, those sort of like 25-year people who are like 25 now, they totally get it. We're sort of in the middle of those two generations, I would say. Like, But yeah, they're not drinking at all anymore.
No, because I wanted to ask, so your friends, because you said the type of drinker that you were, like you always had control of yourself, no one ever had like bad videos of you then?
I don't think so. No.
No.
No, there wouldn't be that many. There wouldn't be any videos of me, like, I don't think, anyway, famous last words, of me like being sloppy and sort of falling about.
No.
There could be like, maybe a couple maybe from uni or something, but like, or maybe that handful of times that I have actually been like really, really sloppy. But I don't think there's
Wow.
any of that. But I think, again, like that generation who are younger than us, that's probably one of the reasons that they're not drinking anymore. Because anytime you see someone doing something that's a little bit, what do I want to say, sloppy, but like even just a little bit not normal,
Yeah.
the immediate reaction in today's society is to pull out your camera phone. I do it in the street in Bondi. If I see someone weird and doing something weird in the street in Bondi, I'll be like, and start videoing it. But like, could you imagine if they had the quality of camera phones and the level of like social media like when you were in uni?
Oh my good God. Oh my goodness me. No, I can't even think about it. There's some awful videos of me still from like just a couple of years ago. Like I am literally so pissed. I am swimming in wee on a bathroom floor. Like that is the state that I would get into. And like there's so many things. And I don't know how I didn't think like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And there's actually a quote, I think there's a psychiatrist called, I think she's called Julie Newman or Julie Smith. And she says, most people who black out get that scared from that experience that they either stop drinking or they even like slow down on their drinking, cut back. But the people who keep going back, despite the negative consequences, it's those who have their alcohol dependency. And I read that when I was maybe about 3 months sober. I was thinking, oh my God, like the amount of things, like losing that Pandora, where my whole family had put money in and bought all these charms, I think I've lost about 3 phones in Australia. And I kept going back and back. So obviously there's so much more. I think, yeah, like we were talking about like the confidence. There was that was pulling me back again and again.
When did it start to get a bit easier for you?
I'd honestly say 3 months. I'd say 100 days, because I actually saw a quote, and I know you've been saying this a lot, and it's like, people only change when they stop focusing on what they're giving up and they start focusing on what they're gaining. And I heard that quote and I was like, oh my God, like, let's forget about everything I'm giving up and let's focus on everything I'm gaining. And I was gaining so much. Like, I'd love to know as well more about what you were gaining. But for me, like relationships, I had a really bad relationship with my mum, my brothers, Joe, my partner. The relationship wasn't probably too good whilst I was drinking. My career kicked off. I got really, really settled. Like, I was obsessed with mental health. I didn't go into mental health before really sobriety. What else? Like personal development, a self-love, like honestly, my negative self-talk from drinking. And I feel like sobriety helped that, because when I wasn't drinking, there wasn't times where I was doing stupid things. Like if I was drinking, like there was bound to be stupid things. So removing alcohol stopped them. So it stopped me feeling like shameful. I stopped like regretting things. Like I had nothing to be, didn't have a lot of things to feel regret on, because like I wasn't doing anything. So yeah, self-love, my confidence grew so much. That was probably one of the biggest things, because I think I always felt I'm the dyslexic one. I can't speak. And like, I even did a talk the other day, public speaking. I'm not gonna lie, I was nearly sick and I nearly cancelled the morning of. But yeah, I think confidence, fitness, got really into like nutrition, eating what I'm putting in my body. Money, oh my God, the amount of money. Like obviously I do invest a lot like you into the business, but yeah, what about you? What would you say you've gained in the last 2 years?
This podcast wouldn't be nearly on 50 episodes.
Wow.
If it'd be nowhere near that, because I spend a lot of I've got a 9-to-5 job, right? So I spend most of my weekend doing podcast stuff, like all the admin behind the scenes, all the social media, all the prepping for guests. Like it wouldn't be anywhere near 50.
way.
I just wouldn't have had the energy, and that's the main thing. And also my fitness as well. So as I mentioned earlier, like got really into high rocks over the last like year and a half, and I've done 3 races, and every single time I've beat my previous time. So like,
Wow.
yeah, like, so think, and I get way more of a kick
Mm.
out of that. I would say my relationship
Yeah.
as well. I look back at my previous relationship when I was drinking, and I'm not happy at a lot of like the behaviors from that previous relationship and how I was acting within it. And yeah, you can like blame alcohol for some of the things, but like if you plus the alcohol made you act or do behave in a certain way that you look back and you're not happy with, like I just wasn't happy the person I was becoming and the person I was. So it allowed me to sort of pivot, and I'm much happier with like this version of Chris rather than Chris like 2.5 years ago, say. And that's actually led me to, I'm in a relationship now. It's a much healthier relationship. I think I'm a much better partner as well. You need to ask my missus, but I think because she never knew me
as drinking, yeah.
as drinking, yeah.
Wow. And how's it been for her? How did you go into that relationship and tell her that you don't drink?
I told her as soon as I met her. We met at a friend's house before going to an event.
Oh, wow.
And I was drinking Heaps Normals,
Yeah.
the 0 alcohol beer. And yeah, just told her right away. Like that was the first time we'd met each other, and I just told her right away. I was like, "Oh, I don't drink." And she's like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I think I must have caught her at like a good stage in her life as well, because she definitely was like on the journey of cutting back, and she barely drinks.
Wow.
No, she'll have the odd one here and there, but like she's cut way back. Not through me being like, you should cut back. Just like, I don't know, just maybe naturally me rubbing off on her in a good way.
Yeah, it's the influence. You don't, honestly, you really don't know how much you are influencing other people.
Yeah, but I want to talk about, so we've talked about like what you gain, and if you see it as an equation, like this is all the things that I'm gaining over here. Let's be real, there are things that you do give up, and I think it's like worth talking about them as well, because you do sometimes you do sort of miss some of this. It's just the fact that this pile over here, the things you're gaining, is way bigger, but there's still a couple of things over here. I don't know, this is my personal experience. There's still a few things over here, like it's a little bit sad that I don't have that anymore, but I don't know, like what have you felt like you've given up?
Sometimes I do think, like, do I miss the excitement and the spontaneous of like the things that would happen on a night out? So you could be like at a boat party, and then last minute you could like organize going to an event. It's like really that spontaneous thing. But then I always say to myself, like, the next day, it's the anxiety, it is the mental chatter, it's the regret. Like, I have to be honest, I probably would have lost like a phone from that. Like, I've lost friends' belongings. I've like been so drunk. I borrowed my friend's Kenzo sliders and lost them. I had to replace them, and I'm sure that was like $300. Like, there was always something. So yeah, although sometimes I do think like, do I really miss out on the social aspect? But I do have to remind myself like what comes next. And to be honest, there's that quote, and it's like, if you need alcohol to enjoy that thing or that person, you actually don't enjoy that thing or person. I think that's Mark Manson. And then if I ask myself, like, do I really want to go on a boat party sober? Like, no, not really. What, to have everyone screaming in your ear, repeating themselves? Like, no, it's not fun.
But let's be real, like things like boat parties, festivals, nights out, they are not as fun.
No.
Once you remove alcohol and other things, they're not as fun.
No, even weddings. I did my first sober wedding. The start of it I really enjoyed because there's so much going on. There's like the talks, there's like a big show, but
It's after the dinner, isn't it?
yeah, I felt that was quite hard. I had to take myself to the bathroom quite a lot.
A few deep breaths.
Yeah, exactly. I do that in the bathroom and just remind myself. And I always talk about this. It's like sober hype talks. Like I'd hype myself in the toilet and be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You're so confident without alcohol. You're doing amazing. Just think about tomorrow. You're going to wake up sober, fresh, and it's going to be amazing. So yeah, those have been quite difficult. Also, I don't know if you have had this conversation, probably not, but like wedding talks, I don't know if you've even thought about this, but like obviously my partner drinks and like he would like a big wedding for like family and friends. Me now, I'm like, I don't want to spend all my money on people getting drunk. Like I'd rather save the money for children, for a house, and like we definitely have a conflict on our values at that.
Yeah, the thought of having like a big boozy wedding, like your traditional sort of British wedding, like fills me with a bit of anxiety to the point where I'm like, I would rather just not get married. And if we have to go through that, or say, I just want it to be the two of us on a beach. I don't want anyone there. I just want the two of us on a beach, just to elope somewhere, and then we just tell everyone after.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that kind of wedding.
No, me neither. I'd say that's like probably the biggest thing. Yeah. What about you? What do you think you're losing out on?
Like I said, I think it is. It's the social.
Yeah.
And it is. I used to love going to festivals. I used to love like going to like a festival on a Saturday afternoon in Sydney or in Melbourne. I used to really enjoy boat parties as well, like getting on a boat at like midday from King's Wharf or Rose Bay, and just I used to love that. And now I'm so I've lost that. I've lost that because it, like, yeah, let's be real, it's just not as fun. Weddings aren't as fun as you mentioned. But I've made my peace with it because what's on the side of the equation that I'm gaining is just so much more, and it's so much. It's nearly like a slower, it's nearly like a slower burn. It's like a slower, more sustained, consistent feeling, rather than like the massive high of the night out, then the massive low after. It's kind of just more like a consistent, like, okay, this is gradually trending up in a positive direction. It's never going to hit the height of like that festival that you were going to go to.
But would you not go to another festival? I think I could.
I've done like, it's not as fun. No. It's just like, it's not as good.
Yeah.
But then to go back to your Mark Manson quote, like, did you really enjoy that? Did you really love that thing in the first place?
Yeah.
If you had to be drunk to really enjoy it?
Yeah, that's true. Do you know what I did? I think it was my first New Year's Eve. I went out and I was coming up to a year sober, but I went out for New Year's Eve and we only went to like Ravisi's, and I had the best night. The music, it was like 90s music, so I was loving it. I had my sister with me, my partner with me, my little brother was here, and all of our friends, and I had the best night. It did get to a point, I think it was 12 p.m. and after 12 p.m. it got to a point where I was like, okay, everyone's annoying me. I'm going to go home now. But I did enjoy it. So I think as long as you are with the right people, as long as you can spend time with those people without alcohol, you're fine. If you can be at that place, like listen to the music without alcohol, you will enjoy it. So you can still do the things as long as you would do it without alcohol.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And look, let's bring it up to the present day, Faye. So you coach people to go alcohol free or to cut back, is that right?
So it's a sober glow up in 100 days, because I don't know about you, but like, well, yeah, I think this is the same for you. But if someone would be telling you to give up alcohol forever, I would have literally put my fingers up at them. Like I wouldn't have.
That's too big a goal to start out with. You need to
Yeah.
make it something more achievable, like 100 days, right?
Exactly. And I think 100 days, like you said, with the 75 days, it gives you a chance to maybe go to a wedding, do some socializing without alcohol. So I think 100 days, and that's where you get a lot of the benefits towards the end of the 100 days. So it's because for me, and I think for everyone with sobriety, when you're drinking, you don't have that much self-love. Depending on what kind of drinker you are, but if you're a binge drinker, most of the time you're losing things, you're blacking out. So I combine sobriety with self-love, and that is when you get like the true sober glow up. Because I think for me, whilst I was drinking, I used to rely on like bleached blonde hair extensions, lashes, everything. And that's where I thought I'd get my glow up from. And I soon realized when you work on your self-love, get to know who you are, and even reinvent yourself as the person that you want to be, you can literally just change your life and have the biggest glow up in every single aspect of your life.
So do you just work with females, or do you work with men as well?
At the minute, just females.
So are you actually getting a lot of females approach you and say, hey, Faye, like I'm trying to cut back or actually want to give up? Do people like reach out to you, and then that's when they sort of enlist you or appoint you as their coach to sort of coach them through it because you've been through it?
Yeah, what I've noticed with a lot of the clients as well, they're all high achievers. Like they've got big goals. So one of the girls has just started a business, doing public speaking, like she's doing absolutely amazing. Another of the girls is saving for a house, like that's a huge goal. Like a lot of the women have really high established jobs, got a lawyer, nurse, like they're all got big goals. And a lot of the ladies as well have tried breaks before. They've tried like 100 days, they have tried maybe 6 months, but they keep going back.
So why do they keep going back? Is there a common thread there, like as to why they keep going back?
So a lot of them don't understand the impacts of alcohol. Like I think a lot of the women who I work with, because they're high achievers, when they learn about alcohol and what alcohol does to not just your health, but your productivity and your goals, it's like a light bulb switch. Like they know, like we were talking about, you need that big why to stop. That why needs to be bigger than the desire for alcohol. That's what really helps. Another thing as well is just like your beliefs, like learning where your beliefs come from. Because I used to always say, like, I could never give up alcohol because I like the taste. Like, it was not the taste. It was like the confidence thing. It was like I used to drink to wind down, like to self-soothe. So in Sober Glow Up, we talk about like the belief of alcohol relaxes me, and then we go through like why it does not relax you.
Stimulant, isn't it?
Yeah, increases cortisol. So it's like going through a lot of the science. I feel like high achievers want to know the science. We like have that belief and then we rip it completely apart. So the first aspect is learning about alcohol. Like the first couple of things, like the crucial things, is like how to self-soothe without alcohol, how to socialize without alcohol, because that's like a massive scary thing. How to be in a relationship without alcohol, how to deal with like all these emotions, so like how to like celebrate without alcohol, because that's like a big thing.
That's tough. It is tough, isn't it?
Having all of these things. And the thing is as well, like with sobriety, you can't just tell somebody what to do, because everyone's got all these different experiences. So it's giving people lots of ideas and getting them to think like what is going to work with them. So that's the start, like embracing sobriety. And then the next part is like learning how to love yourself. And I think that's what the girls are really enjoying, because like so many of us had that identity before of like Faye the party girl or Faye the wild one. And letting go of that identity, I don't know if you struggled with that, but I just thought, who am I then if I don't drink? But deep down, and I think this is similar to you, you'll have to let me know, but deep down I've always been ambitious. I always knew I had these big goals, but alcohol just got in the way so much. And then I was stuck in like a shame cycle. So removing alcohol, I was able to get clear and like really crystal clear without the alcohol clouding you of who I wanted to be. And then I was able to reinvent myself as that person. And I always say, when you change your identity, you change your reality. Like it is your identity that creates the change. Like for so many of us, we think, oh, I'll be happy when I get to this goal. And we forget that we need to become a different person to get that goal. So when you change as a person, that goal just comes in like, I'd say like 10 times as faster.
You talked about focusing on self-love is like a really important step in the journey. Like what sort of things are you coaching women to do that sort of will help improve that self-love? Like what can people do to, what's the word I'm looking for? What can people do to ignite more self-love?
I'd say the biggest thing, and I didn't have this at all, was self-compassion. Like when I was drinking, I didn't have any self-compassion. So if I was drinking the next day, I'd be like, oh my God, I hate you, Faye. Like I'd be in the mirror, I hate you, you're an absolute piece of shit. You are so stupid, you've just lost this and you've just done that. And then because I was so used to that happening on the weekend, if I did anything during the week, maybe I had done something at work, sent the wrong email or something, because I was so used to that negative chatter, I would continue with that during the week. Whereas because sobriety, I was not doing all those stupid things. When things happened in the week, I'd done something silly, I wasn't in that cycle of like being negative. I was able to pause and be like, oh, it's okay. Like other people make this mistake. It's not, I've not caused an earthquake or anything. Like just having that self-compassion, knowing that I'm not the only person. Because I feel like when you're drinking as well, I don't know if this is you, but I was constantly in victim mindset. It's everything's happening to me because of their alcohol. It's alcohol's fault I lost my phone. Like I wouldn't take any responsibility. So with sobriety, I was able to like have self-compassion, understand that it's happened, and then give myself love, motivate myself to do better. Because I think so many of us, we don't have self-compassion. Like we think if we speak negatively to ourselves, we're going to motivate ourselves to do better. But like there's so much science, there's so much psychology that says when you have the self-compassion and you start treating yourself like you would a best friend. Like I would never speak to my mom or speak to my nan the way I used to speak to myself. So it's like becoming your best friend. Like I take myself on little dates now. I literally take care of myself. I'd say self-compassion and self-care are like huge ones in Sober Glow Up, but like looking after myself just like I would look after myself as look after my nan. So like I've just started a new job and like it has been quite exhausting. It's been a bit of a challenge, and I'm treating myself with how I would treat my nan if she was feeling stressed, whereas old me would have like said, oh come on, like you can do this, you're fine. Whereas now I'm like, okay, tonight what do I want to do? I want to just chill. I want to put on a film and just take care of myself like I would a best friend.
Yeah, amazing. Do you have any idea like how many women that you've worked with or impacted at this stage?
Yeah, so we've got about 20 girls in Sober Glow Up in 100 days. But honestly, it's the messages that you get like random, and I bet you get loads of these messages saying, thanks so much, you've inspired me. I've just done 100 days. I've just done 3 months. And it's just those messages where I'm just like, oh, it's just, yeah, it's so heartwarming.
How does it make you feel knowing that you've impacted 20 lives?
Oh, amazing. Because I think for me, like, before I got sober, like sobriety just seemed like the worst thing in the world. Like, why would
boring?
really, really, really boring. And what I learned in my sobriety was like actually it's gorgeous. Like it's a time to go all in on your self-love. It's time to like do really wholesome things, but really fun things. Like I talk about it being like a self-love retreat. Like you can actually pour so much back into yourself. So I'm just like that I'm able to show people that it's not boring. It can be such an exciting time to like go all in on your self-love.
Yeah, beautiful. Look, Faye, I have one more question, but thank you so much for coming in for a chat. It's been brilliant. Last question. What words of advice would you give the version of Faye that was blacking out, losing shit?
Oh, God. That's really tricky because when I was drinking, I couldn't see anything else. Like, I could only see alcohol. I could only see the next party, the next event, the next time I was going out. So
If you walked past her in the street and she said, I need help, what would you say to her?
listen to podcasts, listen to your podcast. That's what I'd say. Podcasts really, really helped me. Just going on a walk, listening to other people's stories, because you can start to relate to people, listening to how people's life has changed. That was amazing for me. What about you?
What would I say?
Yeah.
I'd say find your why.
Yeah.
Find that thing that is more important to you than going out and getting pissed and feeling like shit. Like, find something that you're really passionate about, and it can be anything. It can be anything. It could be running, it could be podcasting, it could be yoga. I don't know. It could be anything, but find it and make that your why.
Yeah, transfer the energy into that.
I think that's so important to make any big life change. And just acknowledge as well, like, it comes with sacrifice and it's not easy at times, but it is eventually worth it. That's what I would tell that version of me. But pour your energy into something that you're going to be more proud of in 10 years' time.
I love that, because if you ask yourself, like, have you done anything that you're proud of yourself whilst you were drinking? If you were to ask me, like, did you do anything that you're really proud of whilst drinking? I would say no. Like, there was nothing that I did. Like, obviously, at the time, I thought, like, so proud, because I thought I had a medal if I was Faye the Wild Child and the party girl. But, like, now I look back, there was nothing good that I achieved from drinking.
Fair enough. Faye, thank you so much for coming in for a chat. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.